Welcome back as we talk basketball on this week's edition of Coach's Corner. We mentioned the boys basketball team plays Friday night. The girls precede them by 24 hours. The Lady Cats will play Thursday night at 8 o'clock in Sapulpa in their first round of the playoffs. And if you're not familiar with the state playoffs, they are, at least for these games this weekend, do or die. You win, you guarantee yourself at least 2 more games. And the finality is that Coach 8 teams will be done with their season on Thursday night. You hope you're not one of those teams. But this playoffs format, the way it's been done many years in bigger schools, you have no margin for error, do you?
No, you got to play well starting off Thursday night. If you don't, you're done, and you start another sport or you go into off season. And so we know where we're at and what's going on, and we're preparing for that contest.
We play Sapulpa on Friday night. I know that as you have been in the midst of the last 2 weeks of the season, you can't put all your emphasis on Sapulpa, but I'm sure that you've had an eye on some of their game film, and in fact you went and got a chance to watch them play this past weekend.
I did. Friday night, I went and watched them play Bigsby at Bigsby, and Bigsby's got a fine ball club. I think they're ranked 4th right now and get to have a home seed. And Sapulpa takes them into overtime there and beats Bigsby by, I want to say 8. But Sapulpa's the real deal. They're as good as anybody out there and has an opportunity to go play and win a state championship. So if we could knock them off, this would be a great feather in our hat.
What do they do, Coach, that makes them so dangerous?
They're so dangerous because of 3 guards. Their guard play is excellent. Difficult for people to match up with them because not only can they drive, but they can shoot the 3 so well. Very good ball handlers, and they put a lot of pressure on you defensively, both on the ball and in the passing lane, so they create a lot of havoc for you offensively trying to operate, and then defensively put so much pressure because they're pushing the ball down the floor. Great transition game. And then they couple that with a couple of post players that are really good. One kid's 6 foot and the other one's 5'10", and both of them are outstanding post players.
Well, I would imagine for a team that's averaged around 20 turnovers a game, you're going to have to cut that in half, aren't you?
We do. We've got to beat 10 or under, or we're in trouble. And that's what they do. They create so much off of their off of turnovers in their transition game. So the minute you throw it away or you do something wrong, they capitalize and they're down there bumping the glass on you. So we've got to be very error-free this Thursday night.
Well, your team has gone 2-2 your last 4 ball games, Coach. Ended up with 7 wins on the season and are playing good basketball right now. I know you always look for improvement, but offensively, Katie Edens has really come on, a senior who you have the feeling watching Katie, she knows that this is my last few weeks, and she stepped it up, hadn't she?
She has, and we were hoping for that. And it's hard to know when that time is that you want to be playing your best. You don't want to do it early. So this is a delicate matter in the game of basketball, is having your team ready right when it's crucial and right at the right time. And I feel pretty good about us as far as peaking. I think we're peaking at the right time.
This is also a good example of how patient coaches have to be, because I'm sure that there were times this season when we weren't scoring a lot of points that you were tempted to make big changes and look to the future and all that, and you stayed with it, and it's paying off for you too.
It is, and that's what you have to do. Like I said, it's a delicate balance of knowing how far to push them early and how much you want to make changes like you've talked about. So you have to be very patient, and you're looking for a specific date that you want them to be playing their best, and obviously it's this week.
You had 2 other seniors besides Katie Edens, who was honored on senior night, Ashley Vaughn, and then it doesn't seem possible that it's been 3 months since Natasha Burley had that 25 or 26 rebound game in the opener, but those 3 girls are your seniors. 2 of them are starters and girls that have played good. I'll tell you, all these girls have played good defense all year. Their scoring hasn't been, I'm sure, what they would like, but they've been pretty consistent in other areas of the game.
Absolutely, and we're putting that last part together right now. That offensive game is starting to come around, which is what we were hoping for, and it has. And those 3 seniors are so valuable to us. They mean so much to us. Even if they're not out on the floor at the specific time, their chemistry on the ball club is so vital to us. They're great encouragers. They're so positive, and they're always willing to do whatever it takes for us to be successful, to encourage other people to be successful.
I know that there's a lot of want in winning this ball game. unfortunately, your playoffs are based on the body of work for the season, so that's a tough draw. Sapulpa, knowing that you're going to go in there and just about have to play perfect, Coach, to pull out a win.
That's correct. But you know, probably in their mind right now, I don't think they expected to see us playing at the level we're playing at right now. We scrimmaged them back in November, and it wasn't good. They handled us pretty easily. But now, this past 2 weeks, they can see that we're getting better. And so I would imagine we've got their attention a little bit.
And there's also an old adage that we've talked about before, too, and you've been on both sides of it. There's pressure on the team that's higher seeded. There's a lot more pressure on Sapulpa than there is Ponca City. We can be loose going into that game, and if you can keep it tight for a quarter and then another quarter, the more the game goes with a close score, the more that pressure will build, not on Ponca, but on Sapulpa.
And we've worked on that all season long. People probably wondered what in the world we're doing at times when we're so patient offensively. But what we were trying to do is develop that discipline so that now when we are in the playoffs, that discipline is present on our ball club. And when you're playing a high-profile, high-scoring type team like Sapulpa, you can enact what you've worked on all season and hope that it pays off.
What kind of practice did you have today, Coach, and what type of practices do you anticipate this week?
Great practice. The kids were eager to work today and worked very hard, and we wanted today to be a really hard practice for the week, and then tomorrow will be very similar to that. Primarily, we worked on defense today with a little bit of offense. We talked about how our game plan is going to be and what we're trying to do specifically. And then tomorrow we'll spend a little bit more time offensively and then go back over game plan defensively. And then Wednesday's a pretty soft day. You're going to try to shoot and make sure that your eye's keen on the basket and then finalize things and go back over the things that you've talked about on Monday and Tuesday. And Thursday, it's get on the bus and go play.
Very good. 8 o'clock on Thursday night in Sapulpa. WBBZ Radio will have that live broadcast, and we hope to be talking to a happy Coach Winburn afterwards. That's this week's Coach's Corner. For Coach Winburn and Coach Hibbler, I'm Phil Turney.